Parashat, we review the terrible story of the uprising of Korach. Initially, Moshe attempts peace despite not having erred while Korach had instigated this dispute. However, when Korach continues to insist that Moshe was not a valid leader, Moshe drastically changes his tone and requests that Borei Olam bring about the destruction of Korach and his cohort in a unique way to clearly demonstrate to all the severity of his actions. Yet, why did Moshe request that HaKadosh Baruch Hu cause them to die through being swallowed up by the earth? The Kli Yakar offers an interesting approach that focuses on Moshe's request that Korach and company be swallowed and cites a source in Chazal where this concept is mentioned. The Mishnah in Pirkei Avot teaches that one should pray for the well-being of the government of a country because, if not for the fear of government, each man would swallow his fellow alive. The Mishnah is teaching that without a strong leadership of a nation, then anarchy rules, and consequently people will swallow each other alive. In essence, Korach was in fact demanding anarchy. His argument was that there shouldn't be any leader, because all people are holy. But as the Mishnah teaches, if his goal would have reached fruition, then the dire warning of the Mishnah would have actually come into reality, and anarchy would rule, leading to the prospect of each man swallowing his fellow. Accordingly, measure for measure, Korach and his assembly were swallowed themselves, signifying the damage that their plans posed for the well-being of individuals. This is the message of the importance of Tefilla by Pirkei Avot. Located in New York is a large supermarket I am confident you are all familiar with. It is owned by a gentleman, let's call him Barry. The grocery overall has done quite well, and it's one that employs dozens of cashiers from the area. Last year in March, one of the busiest times of the year, Barry hired a non-Jewish cashier who worked all month leading up to Pesach. Yet when the month was over, she abruptly stopped showing for work, which Barry found surprising as he still owed her a month's salary. Without a way to contact her, Barry assumed she would be in touch when she was ready to collect her paycheck. In March, the profits were higher than usual, which was par for the course due to the holiday shopping, but in the following month of April, they showed a loss, which was very surprising as there was no out-of-the-ordinary expenditures that particular month. Knowing that they generally turn a healthy profit, Barry reviewed the security footage to see if there had been excessive shoplifting, but all seemed in order. The month of May came, and again the books showed a loss. How can this be happening? Barry began to wonder. Maybe the suppliers were cheating him. Maybe they weren't delivering the proper quantities per order. He orders a complete counting of his inventory, and again, everything checked out perfectly. Barry began to go into a tailspin. He's rummaging in his mind all of the possibilities. The store is full of customers, money's going through the registers. How is it possible that I'm losing money? Until March, everything was fine. What's going on? This situation kept on for 8 months when Barry came to the sad realization that if this continues much longer, he will soon be bankrupt. Helplessness began to set in. Barry thought long and hard about his situation and realized he needed a lifeline, a major Kabbalah, a game changer, a commitment that would make a ra'ash in Shemayim. He then accepted upon himself that he would no longer speak in shul at any time and under any circumstances. He would properly honor his tefillah and hoped in turn that this merit would bring him favor in Borei Olam's eyes, and with that a Yeshua would come forth. He awoke the following morning, determined to keep his commitment, and while walking to shul, his phone rang. The woman on the other end of the line wouldn't give her name, but requested a meeting with Barry that afternoon. Barry was working on a hunch, and he asked her, "Does this have something to do with a cashier that recently worked in my store?" She confirmed. Meeting was set for later that day. Rebecca sat across from Barry at the table, and with a serious demeanor she says, "Please listen to me clearly as I have an important thought and information to share with you. Recently, I employed a chadema, and I happened to have overheard her on the phone when she said, I hacked the computers in the supermarket and successfully uploaded the virus. Now I want my payment. Over the next couple of days, I was determined to hear every word that came out of her mouth. In doing so, I learned that a virus had indeed been uploaded in your store. They were highly successful in stealing huge amounts of money from you. Barry was horrified by what he had heard. He thanked her profusely. He immediately called a cybersecurity company. They dispatched a team to his store, uncovered the virus along with other multiple cashiers that were complicit in this scheme, and verified that over $300,000 had been stolen. Naturally, sharing the information with the police led to a prompt arrest of the crooks involved. For 8 long months, Barry prayed for a Yeshua. But in the end, what swung the pendulum of good fortune his direction was this Kabbalah. The Holy Gaon, the Sha'ar Tosfot Yom Tov, he lived in the 1500s. He lies buried today in the Ramah Cemetery in Krakow. He was the forebear, the progenitor of sanctity in the synagogue. And in fact, he authored a most magnificent Tefilla, a beracha, to bless those that protect the Kedusha of the Shul by only speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's right. No talking during Tefillah under any circumstances. Not ben gavra legavra between the aliyot, not when the rabbi is speaking, not when the heichal is open, certainly not during Birkat Kohanim, and not with barely audible whispers. There are countless stories of those in Am Yisrael desperately seeking Yeshuot. Yes, both men and women, and when they were mekabel to refrain from speaking in shul, they have witnessed miracle after miracle. If you know someone in need of a shidduch, an improvement in a health condition, or parnasah, might I be so bold as to present this invaluable gem of advice as a path forward. It's baduk umnusa, it's tried and true. Start this Shabbat right in your own shul, whether it be in Brooklyn, Deal, London, or Israel. It's surprisingly achievable, and the rewards are truly magical. Bahatzlacha rabah and Shabbat Shalom.